Joe Biden has a running mate, and he has picked Kamala Harris. Will she help or hurt the ticket? Black Lives Matter describes the looting in Chicago as reparations. Plus, is standing in line to vote dangerous? A new study has the answer. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with Joe Biden because now he made the announcement. He has a running mate. He got on Twitter. I think it's so he could have it down in writing so he wouldn't forget later, and he made the announcement. I have the great honor to announce that I've picked Kamala Harris, a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants, as my running mate. So there you have it. Give me a break. Kamala Harris, the person who flamed out big time in the Democrat presidential primaries, she's now the running mate. And shortly after that tweet, Biden got on and added this. Back when Kamala was Attorney General, she worked closely with Beau, that was Biden's son. I watched as they took on the big banks, lifted up working people, and protected women and kids from abuse. I was proud then, and I'm proud now to have her as my partner in this campaign. Well, her record as prosecutor and attorney general will certainly be looked at, folks, because it is absolutely terrible. And this is the thing. She is so attackable. You have to question Biden's judgment on all of this stuff. And it's not like you have to dig for dirt. It's right there in that Twitter thread, the announcement thread. Shortly after he posted that, there's already videos showing Kamala Harris's record. You just go back to one of the presidential debates, the Democrat presidential primary. Tulsi Gabbard hammered Harris on a number of issues, and here's just a clip.
But I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California.
So when you have a record like that, and when you have a history of questionable behavior that's used to advance your career, you're going to be attacked. And it is so easy. And again, this calls into question Joe Biden's judgment. Plus, there's also this deal of when you look at the presidential primaries, the attacks that Harris made against Biden. Now, I know they usually all make up after the primary, but there's some serious issues that were raised. And here is Harris going after Biden on the issue of busing.
When Vice President Biden was in the United States Senate working with segregationists to oppose busing, which was the vehicle by which we would integrate America's public schools, had I been in the United States Senate at that time, I would have been completely on the other side of the aisle. And let's be clear about this. Had those segregationists their way, I would not be a member of the United States Senate, Cory Booker would not be a member of the United States Senate, and Barack Obama would not have been in a position to nominate him to the title he now holds.
So here's the point. Just like I mentioned, candidates will go after each other in the primary and then they'll team up afterwards. That's just politics. But how do you justify this? Because Harris is basically calling Biden a racist. And this is not anything new. I've gone over issue after issue. In fact, recently, he's gotten into the news, gotten into hot water for comments that are just bizarre. I mean, he said if you have, talking to a black audience, that if you're thinking about voting for Trump, then you ain't black. I covered just the other day him talking about blacks as all thinking alike, that they don't think for themselves, unlike Hispanics. And then there's the poor kids are just as talented as white kids. All of it paints this picture of a racist Joe Biden that Kamala Harris herself keyed in on when she attacked him during the debates. That is a big question in this era of Black Lives Matter, something that they both opened themselves up for, and they're both going to be attacked. So, President Trump, at his press conference, he was asked about the announcement, and here's what he said.
She is a person that's told many stories that weren't true. She's very big into raising taxes. She wants to slash funds for our military at a level that nobody can even believe. She is against fracking.
So the fracking comment, I thought that was particularly interesting because there is a reason that the U.S. has risen to the #1 oil producing nation in the world, and that's because of fracking. So if you want to go campaign in Ohio and Pennsylvania and Texas, this big movement to turn Texas blue, and you're against fracking, that is a big deal. We moved, we pushed so we could end our dependency on foreign oil. That is a national security issue, and they want us to go back to that. They want us to go back to our dependency on OPEC and the Middle East, something that is not in the best interest of the United States. Kamala Harris would push for that. It's just outrageous. So then President Trump moved to the issue of healthcare.
She's in favor of socialized medicine, where you're going to lose your doctors, you're going to lose your plans. She wants to take your health care plans away from 180 million Americans. 180 million Americans that are very happy with their health insurance.
Good points there. And here's the thing. Any policies that Kamala Harris advocates are far left policies. When she actually advocates policies, she'll turn on those in an instant to advance her career. And that's going to be a big issue. And within minutes of this announcement, the Trump campaign already had an ad together. They had an ad ready to go that sums up the Biden-Harris ticket.
Kamala Harris ran for president by rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie's plan for socialized medicine, calling for trillions in new taxes, attacking Joe Biden for racist policies. Voters rejected Harris. They smartly spotted a phony. But not Joe Biden. He's not that smart. Biden calls himself a transition candidate. He is handing over the reins to Kamala while they jointly embrace the radical left. Slow Joe and phony Kamala. Perfect together. Wrong for America.
Nice. So the question is, does she help or does she hurt the ticket? That's what I want to know. Please jump into the comments and let me know. Now we have Biden-Harris. Does she help the ticket, hurt it? Does it matter? Does it bolster Biden in any way? Let me know what you think. Because next, we're going to move on to Black Lives Matter in Chicago. But first, folks, I've got a special announcement. Last night, we hit another milestone dealing with subscribers. We hit 80,000 subscribers. And I want to thank you so much. That is such a big deal. And it continues our push. So if you haven't subscribed yet, or if you're new to the show, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 100,000 subscribers by Election Day. 100K by Election Day, and we can do it with your help. So next, we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter because I can't wait for Harris and Biden to be questioned about this organization and what we've seen going on the last couple months. The lawlessness, the chaos, the riots, the looting. Black Lives Matter as an organization needs to be called out. You have corporations, sports entities, everyone jumping on board. This organization is wrong. It is based on a lie. It's led by Marxists. It advocates a position of systemic racism within the police department, which we know is not true. They advocate against the traditional family. That's the organization. That's the organization that everyone seems to be rallying around. And to just paint a picture of what they're really all about, this past weekend, rioting and looting in Chicago. How did Black Lives Matter describe this? Reparations. Here's the story. Black Lives Matter members in Chicago held a rally on Monday to support the more than 100 arrested following widespread looting and rioting that caused at least $60 million in property damage and saw 13 police officers injured, according to a report. The rally was organized by Black Lives Matter Chicago and was held at a police station in the South Loop where organizers say individuals are currently being held in custody. At least one organizer called the looting tantamount to reparations. Can you believe this? So how did this all start? This rioting and looting. Was it another George Floyd incident? No, it was police doing their job. They came across a suspect. The suspect fired upon police. Police fired back, shot the guy. He didn't even die. He was taken to the hospital, treated for his wounds. He's in custody. Is police doing their job? Just that interaction led to rioting and looting and Black Lives Matter making these just outrageous statements. And here's more of the story. I don't care if someone decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's or a Nike store because that makes sure that person eats, said Ariel Atkins, a BLM organizer, according to NBC Chicago. That makes sure the person has clothes. That is reparations, Atkins continued. Anything they wanted to take, they can take because these businesses have insurance. This is unreal, folks. People have homeowners insurance. People have renters insurance. That doesn't mean you can just go into someone's house and take whatever you want because they have insurance to replace it. It's called stealing. It's called breaking and entering. It's called vandalism. That's what's going on. It's called breaking the law. And these people are doing it, and Black Lives Matter is condoning it. It's outrageous. And here's more from BLM. Black Lives Matter Chicago issued a statement obtained by the Chicago Sun-Times that read, "The mayor clearly has not learned anything since May, and she would be wise to understand that the people will keep rising up until the Chicago Police Department is abolished and our black communities are fully invested in," the group said in the statement. So that's what you get, folks. When you condone violence, when you allow lawlessness and chaos, guess what you get? Lawlessness and chaos. These people are making demands. They're basically saying, we're going to keep up the rioting, the vandalism, the looting, unless you give in to our demands. And when you have leaders like Mayor Lightfoot in Chicago and these Democrat mayors all over the country, this is exactly what you get. They condone violence, they condone rioting, condone looting, and the looters, the rioters, BLM, they take control. It's just outrageous. So next, I want to talk about voting, because in this era of coronavirus, all these lockdowns, the Democrats see an opportunity. They see an opportunity to hurt President Trump and win in November. And to do that, you have to stoke fear. You have to keep people locked down. You have to have the economy suffering, people wearing masks out in public, even when they're social distancing. Why? Because it's a visible mark of fear that there's something going on. They want all that. So their big push is mail-in voting, to just mail out ballots to everyone. The fraud, the abuse, it's just going to be crazy. And yet they're saying we want to do that because it's unsafe to vote. Well, guess what? There's a new study that's come out that shows what we've already know, folks. When we wait in line at Home Depot, when we wait in line at the grocery store, we do it safely. We social distance. You can do that in line to vote. And here's the story. An epidemiological study by top scientists threw cold water on calls for universal mail-in voting to avoid long lines at the polls and the risk of spreading the novel coronavirus. The report, published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, showed that despite long lines in Wisconsin's April 7th primary elections, at the peak of the outbreak, there was no spike in new cases, hospitalizations, or deaths. The battleground state was the first in the nation to hold a primary after stay-at-home orders were issued in late March. The voting was marred by hours-long waits at the polls. So hours-long waits, no spikes, no evidence that anything bad happened. And what's outrageous, what's frustrating, is that you need a study to show what we already know. We've done this. We do this at the grocery store. We do this at other places. Coronavirus does not know the difference between voting and waiting in line for food, voting and waiting in line for hardware. The only thing coronavirus seems to know the differences between, according to the left, is between a protest and a Trump rally. Then all of a sudden, coronavirus seems to know the difference, and the media says one's good, the other's bad. Here's more of the story. The CDC study of the impact on voters in Milwaukee revealed that 33% fewer deaths were reported 3 weeks after the election than earlier in April. After a peak in hospitalizations during the last week in March, hospitalizations gradually declined, said the analysis, stressing that the CDC's guidance urging physical distancing, cleaning, and disinfecting at the polls appeared to have worked. The CDC report said a longer voting period and increased number of polling locations in November could help reduce the number of people at the polls and the risk of transmission of COVID-19. So, let's see how that result helps out in our push to get people to the polls, and let's see how media organizations such as CNN and MSNBC give this story. How much attention are they going to give to this story that shows that standing in line to vote in person is no big deal? It does not increase any kind of risk. Play that story. I dare you, CNN. I dare you, MSNBC. Let people know what is really going on. So next, as we gear up towards voting, we're also gearing up to the school year. The new school semester is about to begin. Kids are going back to school, hopefully more and more as the information gets out, as pediatricians keep their push. But guess what, folks? The other thing we have to keep in mind is what we seem to have forgotten during the lockdown, is that these schools are liberal indoctrination zones, and as soon as they get our kids, they're feeding them left-wing propaganda over and over again. Look at what is in the curriculum for one school in Pennsylvania. Elementary school's children returning to a wealthy Pennsylvania classroom in the fall will learn that sympathizing with police officers is racist. Gladwin Elementary School, located in Lower Merion School District, one of the richest in the nation, will require 4th and 5th graders to read Not My Idea, a book about whiteness, which claims that white people who relate to police officers or decline to watch the news are complicit in racism. The curriculum also assigns a kid's book about racism to kindergarten and 1st graders. So what is this? This is blatant indoctrination. It is pushing left-wing propaganda based on facts that don't exist, based on a lie that is pushed by BLM. It's outrageous. So of course, not all the parents are happy with this, and here's more of the story. The books are raising eyebrows among some parents who take issue with their political focus. Alana Fishman, a mother of 2 boys and a social worker, penned a letter to the district's superintendent, board members, and the school's principal demanding the school remove its new cultural proficiency curriculum. The book teaches kids not only to defy parents, but to hate themselves, Fishman said to the Washington Free Beacon, to hate their parents also because they are white. By default, the kids are white, and they're privileged, and they're bad. The school is teaching this to little kids. Give me a break, folks. Congratulations to her for sending this letter. I hope other parents rally around here, talk to the superintendent, talk to the principal, talk to the school board. We need to be teaching the basics, not this woke culture, woke mob mentality that is being jammed down kids' throats. It's absolutely wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching, and before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified, and here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.